Okay, so let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today, looking at a really interesting stack of sources.
Yeah, all about Orly Lavi Travish and her work with 972 Education, Inc.
Exactly. Think of this as like your shortcut to understanding a pretty unique approach to teaching Hebrew and Israeli culture.
We've got quite a bit here, her bio, company details, some really interesting initiatives she's been involved with.
Right. And our mission really is to pull out the key stuff. You know, the experience, the methods, the passion.
So you get a clear picture of what's going on.
Let's just jump right in. What makes this approach stand out for you?
Well, I think what's fascinating is starting with her foundation. The sources show a career spanning over 30 years.
30 years, wow.
Yeah, and across all levels, too. Primary, middle, high school, even university language teaching. That kind of range, it's pretty rare.
It really is. And you can see how that depth shaped things, especially after she moved from Israel to Los Angeles. That was 2008, right?
Correct, 2008. And she stepped into some significant leadership roles there.
Like leading Hebrew departments. Places like Pressman Academy, I think.
Gressman, yeah, and American Jewish University, AJU. She was a mentor teacher there, too, which is important.
Right, guiding other teachers.
And it's not just the time served, you know? It's the commitment to, like, actual pedagogical standards.
You mean the certifications?
Exactly, like the Hebrew Advisor's Certificate, and she's also a qualified ACT FLILR OPI tester for Hebrew.
Okay, so OPI tester. That means she's certified to actually assess language proficiency using those recognized standards.
Precisely. It grounds all that experience in, well, accepted frameworks. It's not just anecdotal.
Okay, so building on that really solid foundation, then we see the shift, right, towards educational entrepreneurship.
Yeah, founding 972 Education, Inc. back in 2018.
And the sources really seem to highlight a very forward-thinking approach there, modern Hebrew, Israeli culture.
Totally. The key insight seems to be how they're pioneering the integration of technology. They specifically mention AI.
AI, and also project-based language learning, PBLL.
Yes, PBLL. And it's not just, like, using a few apps. It's about really weaving tools like AI into these immersive, interactive projects.
Projects that line up with a proficiency approach and ACTFL standards, I gather.
That's the core idea. The focus is on what learners can actually do with the language. Real-world stuff.
Using modern tools to sort of enhance that whole process.
Right. So it's not just what they teach, but very much how they teach it, looking to the future.
And the sources suggest this is driven by, well, a real passion to be a change agent.
Definitely. Someone dedicated to elevating Hebrew instruction globally, professionalizing the field. You see that drive.
And how did that show up?
Well, strongly in community building. She created this global Facebook group for Hebrew teachers.
Oh yeah? How big is that?
It's grown to over 2,500 members now. It's become a major hub for sharing ideas, resources.
2,500 teachers worldwide. That scale alone, that's impactful for professionalizing things, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then there's also Safa al-Hasapa.
Which means
Language on the Sofa. It's described as the first international forum specifically for language teachers, like across languages.
okay, fostering connections again. Vital for pushing innovation, right?
Exactly. And from that energy, you get these unique projects popping up. Like, remember Zikaron Bauzian from 2022?
Memory in the Museum.
That's it, a free virtual tour of the Holocaust Museum, LA, for students. It cleverly links language learning with, you know, crucial history.
It's a powerful connection. And staying current, she also co-launched a podcast.
Yeah, the first Hebrew podcast focused specifically on teaching a second language, education, culture. That was May 2023.
Wow. So this whole picture, it's really fascinating. You see decades of hands-on experience.
Combined with this relentless drive to innovate using tech like AI.
And crucially, building these massive, supportive global communities for teachers.
Yeah, it really feels like a potential model for how language education can evolve.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, we've touched on Orly Lavi Travish's deep background, those key certifications.
Right, and the founding of 972 Education, Inc. Its focus on pioneering methods, integrating AI with PBLL.
And her really powerful community building work, that huge Facebook group, the Safa al-Hasapa Forum.
Plus, innovative projects like the Zikaron Bauzian virtual tour and the Hebrew Teaching Podcast.
What's really striking here, I think, is how it's not just about teaching Hebrew.
No, it feels bigger. It's about actively shaping the future of how that language gets taught, empowering educators, embracing new tools.
Exactly. And maybe how any language is taught.
Which leads to a pretty interesting question for you to mull over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Could this specific blend, deep practical experience, cutting-edge tech integration like AI, and building these robust global communities, could that be a blueprint for revitalizing other areas of education too? Something to think about.